What's up, everybody? Prince Artemis here, and today I have another story time for you guys. Now, when I did the poll on MeWe, well, the most annoying kid in school got first place, so right now I'm going to be doing second place. And second place is about my bus driver. I will not use his name, and for the sake of the video, I will not disclose the location in which this happened to protect myself from any legal actions he might try to do. I don't know, he's that type of person. So I will make a fake name, and I won't even say where we're from. So Mr. Robertson. Yeah, let's just go with that. Mr. Robinson. Okay. Now, before 7th grade, well, 7th grade I still had him, but 7th grade I had a bus driver named Mr. Medley. He was so cool. He was like the best bus driver ever. He was so nice. And then the very first day of 8th grade, there you go, Mr. I'll just keep calling him different names, but it's still the same person. Mr. Stevens, you know, cranky, he wasn't even 4'8", 70-year-old man who always looked like he had a wrinkled up smile on his face even when he was mad, and whenever he walked he waddled. It was hilarious. And you know, he had a temper, you know, and he would yell at the older kids for stuff the really little kids up front would do. See, this is one thing that he had a problem with. The problem on our bus is that little kids would refuse to find a seat if there was 2 people in it. Now, our school, the rule for the buses are 3 people have to cram into a seat. That is the rule. And some of the older kids in the back are, you know, bigger. I'm not going to say fat. No, we literally are bigger. The seats are actually pretty tiny on some of the buses. And some of the kids don't even make the effort to go back there and even look. And, you know, that his 4'9" ass comes waddling back there, and he's like, "Hey, y'all, scoot over. I'm going to let all the little kids back here. I'm going to let them all back here. You all got to deal with them." Well, we didn't like that very much, and he treated us like garbage. And I've had him since 8th grade, but I actually have, you know, graduated. I'm not saying I hated him. I really didn't. I didn't have a problem with him. I just didn't like some of the things he did. And oh boy, if only I knew. And I'll get to that part later, but it's funny. The very first day of 8th grade, I'm not even joking, he crashed. I'm not kidding. When we were pulling up to the elementary school to let the little kids off, because the elementary school, which is kindergarten to 2nd grade, is a different building. It's like down the street from the junior high and high school and the middle school. It's like just separate. Well, I actually heard they're building a new school somewhere else, but whatever. Alright? And he crashes into a light pole right next to the place, and he scratches up the side of the bus. And he tried to blame us for distracting him. Yeah, he's one of those people that it's never, you know, his fault. Which, I didn't approve of that. You know, he keeps saying, I hit it because all the kids were leaning to one side, you know? And, oh God. He just had a really nasty attitude. And every 5 minutes, whenever a kid would be standing up, or I swear to God, one time he slammed on the brakes so hard, like, kids hit their heads against the seats really hard. And I've heard, like, parents have complained about him before, and, you know, he'd always waddle his ass back there, and no, it's never the little kid's fault for not wanting to sit down. He comes there and yells at the older kids for not being more responsible for the little kids, like they're our problem, which is screwed up, and he needed to take responsibility because he was the damn bus driver. You know, it was really annoying. I mean, and he'd always scream and slam on the brakes and pull over every 5 minutes. He was just really rude. I'm trying to remember all the weird crap he's done. I remember at one point he would not let kids under 3rd grade have their phones out on the bus. But he couldn't tell, we're all in seats and he has to drive. But if he somehow saw it, he couldn't take it, he'd just write you up for it, but the office never did anything. I should know because one of my cousins got caught, but he never, got called up to the office. They didn't care, he was just that paranoid old man that no one listened to. Yeah. Oh man. Just remembering some of the stuff that comes later is putting a little bit of stress on me, but don't worry, guys. I'm fine. Now, let's just skip ahead to... Oh. I think the creme de la creme of his actions happened in my senior year. One day, I have a class over in the junior high because some classes are in the junior high, like Spanish and health and whatnot. That's only available over in the junior high, so high schoolers would have to walk across campus to go there. And I'm sitting in the stall, going number 2, that. And lo and behold, Mr. Billy Bob Billy O. Stevens, he just peeks through the door crack at me, and he's like, "You got toilet paper in there?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he smiles to one side, like one side of his mouth is creaked up. He's like, yeah, okay. He walks away backwards, slowly. I think I should have reported that, but, what I'm about to tell you next, it's probably a lot worse now that I look back on it. You see, after the last day of school, or the day before the last day of school, we didn't have any tests, we already finished all that. He was really mad that day, and he comes barreling back there to yell at all of us older kids. And I have had it. He's always blaming us for this bullcrap, and I stand up and I say, "How about you start yelling at the fucking little kids?" And I said the F word, yes, sue me. I say, "Why can't you fucking do your job and yell at the little kids who really need yelling?" And he whirls around and puts his finger up in my face, and he's like, and he yells, "Don't you ever talk to me on my bus like that!" And I just try to ignore him, and he's looming over me in the seat. He's like, "Get off my bus! I don't have any other mode of transportation." And he starts screaming bloody murder. And I think other kids were recording this. He's like, "Get off my bus!" And on my way off, I'm like, I don't know if I should say what I'm about to say, but I'm like, "You GD son of a bitch, I hope..." Well, I didn't say that. You goddamn son of a bitch. And he hears that and he's like, "You know what? Stay by the bus. We're gonna get the administrator over here." And hearing that, I did something I probably shouldn't have done. I ran. And I didn't get in trouble because guess what? It was the day before the last day of school. I just didn't go. Yeah, I just didn't go, and I didn't get in trouble. I got to walk, and I got my diploma, and I graduated high school. I got off scot-free with that, and I'm still proud of that. And then, 2 months later, my grandma calls me and says, "Hey, there's this dude on the news who's getting arrested for all sorts of nasty stuff, and he looks like your bus driver." And I'm like, "Oh, well, I can't see that right now. I'm in a different state. Can you send me a picture?" And she sends me a picture, and lo and behold, it's good old Billy Bob Billy old Stevens. And I'm like, "Oh my god, he's in prison? What did he do?" My eyes drift to the side, and it's 2nd-degree sexual assault and voyeurism. You can look up what voyeurism is. It's not good. It turns out that creepy bastard lured a mentally disabled boy into his truck, drove him around town, and attempted to touch him. And it was all caught on surveillance camera. So, yeah. That son of a bitch is on a cash-only $50,000 bond. And if after the way he acted towards me, I don't even think he'll try anything because I can just tell them he sexually harassed me in the bathroom. Because technically he kind of did. He stared at my junk. I saw him. He's a creepy old bastard. Well, anyway, that's all I got for now. Make sure you hit that bell to get notifications. Bye, everybody.